Life is infinite, but your life is not. My life is not infinite. We born and we die at a certain time. So if we want to be good players in life, we can choose to play the infinite game. The infinite game is going to allow us, is going to help us to improve each day, is going to help us to be better and better each day. If you think of being a number one mom, if you think of being the number one wife, if you think about being the number one friend, you're probably playing the wrong game, because we will never achieve the best if we're playing the infinite game, because that means we're getting better and better each day. You see, I cannot be the best wife if I'm playing the infinite game, because I know I have so much to learn about being a wife. Same thing about being a parent. I have so much to learn. Like I have children at different ages. So I know each time they get older, I have to learn a new stage. Time is evolving. Things are different. So I know that to be a good mom, I have to keep up with the skills. I have to continue to learn and improve myself as a mom so that I can raise my kids, the best that I can. As I am growing, as I am getting better and better. Same thing with a friendship. It's like I'm not the best friend because I have so much to learn about friendship. Things are evolving. Life is different. So with that, I choose to play the infinite game where I know I'm going to get better and better each day, and I will die trying. What type of game are you playing in your life? How are you showing up each day? In the book called The Infinite Game by Sinek, he gives us the information of how to play an infinite game or a finite game. And we can see so much benefits by choosing the infinite game versus the finite game. Because the finite game, people focus on competing with each other. Businesses focus on, I'm going to beat the competition, versus I'm going to create a product that my customers want to buy. And the finite game, the companies create a product that they want to sell. You see the difference? If you're playing that infinite game, you're going to create something that you love so much that your clients are going to want to buy it. And if you're playing that finite game where you just want them to come to you, you're just gonna create something to sell because you want the money. You see, in the infinite game has more emotion, has more love, has more feeling to it. Like you are improving, you are creating something good for your customers to better their life, versus just trying to come up with something that you can sell. So same thing applies in our lives as parents, as workers. Like if you are a leader in your company, how are you leading? Because that's very hard. It is tough. Like being a leader is like you're the first one that goes first. Like you have to try what works and what doesn't, right? So on this book, the author shares with us that there is 5 different areas we want to work on if we want to play the infinite game in a company. And the first one is a just cause. Like we have to know why we're doing what we're doing. Like what is the just cause that allow us to improve each day? What is that cause that your employees are going to wake up each morning and they're going to get up and go to work because they know what they're working for? They know the mission. They know that they're going to improve people's lives. So it's so important to find the just cause. He mentioned different examples, like the owner of Walmart, the guy that created Walmart. His just cause was to bring lower price to the community, and that's what he focused on. And then he talked about like Disney. His just cause was for people to go to the parks and just forget about their problems and have a great time. And that's your just cause will never be accomplished. It's something that we're all gonna die trying. We're all gonna die trying to make it better and better, and you're going to pass it down to the next generation. So it has to be something very, very unique, very special, very loving, like with a lot of passion for all of us to follow if we believe what you believe. So it's so important for us to find a just cause that we can transmit to our employees, that we can transmit to our family. Like this is what our family stands for. The author talks about how the United States, whenever they won the independence, it wasn't just like they won, and they all move on with their lives. It's like, no, they establish rules. For 7 years, they work on it. It's like, how can we make this country better? And they said, we believe in God. This country believes in God. This country believes in human rights. And they spend around 7 years trying to develop how are they going to establish just cause for the people to continue to live for, to continue to fight for, to make sure that equality exists. So that's just an example of how we can develop a just cause in your company, in your family. The second one, he said, we have to build trusting team. We want to build a trusting team that is okay if they make a mistake. They can come to you and say, hey, I messed up. Could you please help me? We need to build a trusting team that they're not afraid to speak up. So that is very important, to create a good environment where we feel trusted, where we feel like we belong, like we are a family. So let's focus on building a trusting team that can speak up if something's going wrong, that they're not afraid to mess up, that they know they're not going to get yelled at whenever they come to your office. Number 3, worthy rival. We have to study our worthy rival. And this is so interesting because if you think of companies, you think that they're always competing, right, against their opponent. And most of them are, most of them are competing. How are they going to beat the competition? How are they going to create or improve the product in order that they're going to get a higher number of sales versus the competition? But if we truly focus on our competition, we can see them as a worthy rival in a way that if they make us feel insecure, if they make us feel like their strengths are our weaknesses, then we can learn from them. That's why he calls it a worthy rival. How can we learn from our worthy rival? How can we better ourselves by learning from someone or from a company that make us feel insecure? From someone that we think that their strength are our weaknesses. How can we learn from them? You see, right there, you can even apply it to your personal life. Like if there is a person in your life that you are struggling because it makes you feel insecure, because you might feel jealousy, you might feel like, this person feels better, or I don't know, whatever emotion you have towards a person that it's negative, try to study and see if it's your worthy rival. Maybe you could learn something from that person because this person is just bringing your weaknesses, maybe it's like stirring your weaknesses because you see their strength. So why don't we just learn from that person? You can call it your worthy rival and learn from it. Same thing with companies. There is Apple. Apple have stayed on business for years and years. IBM is no longer their competition. Microsoft is no longer their competition. Now their competition is more like Facebook and Google. But Apple has a just cause. That's why it continues to be afloat. That's why it continues to be the number one. So let's find our worthy rival, study it, and learn from it. Number 4, he said we have to have a capacity of existential flexibility. Like we have to be strong enough that if COVID happens again, the company is still standing. It's finding its way to grow. It's finding its way to weather the storm. So we have to be strong enough to be flexible and find the way. What works now and what doesn't work no more. Think of Kodak. Kodak had the opportunity to continue to work, continue to grow, but they chose not to because they got scared whenever the digital world came in. So Kodak is no longer the leading company in cameras like it used to be. Then number 5, courage to lead. Having the courage to lead means that you are setting the expectations. It means that you are setting the standards. You are showing what is ethical in the work area, in the family environment. You are showing up as a leader, being an example. You're showing up as a leader in a way that whenever you're no longer there, you know that the place is going to be better than how you found it. Having the courage to lead, it's making that decision, not knowing if it's going to work, but you're going to make a decision either way. In one of my trainings, I remember a story that they share about a general that he had to make a decision, and he can only choose A or B. And the team worked hard to prove that choice A was best. And the other team they work hard for months, to explain to the general that choice B was best for the country. So, they worked for months and they proved, they had everything on paperwork, and they were going to meet with the general and they were going to explain their whys. So when the general comes to the meeting, it doesn't really take him 15 minutes when he decides. And his right hand was all confused because it's like he knew how hard the team worked. A and B, they worked so hard trying to prove why their reason was the best. Their protocol was the best for the general to choose. And he just could not comprehend how it only took the general 15 minutes to decide A or B. And at the end of the meeting, he was just trying his best to ask the general, why did you choose that? And you didn't spend enough time to figure out what true decision was best. It's like you didn't really question, you didn't ask questions, you didn't listen to them. The right hand had so many questions, and he just wanted to ask the general, why do you choose, A or B, without listening to all the details. Well, the general said that whenever you are a leader, you have to choose. You don't have that much time. He said, I choose this plan, and if it didn't work, after we implement this plan, if it doesn't work, then I know it didn't work. Then we're gonna move on to the next one. And that's what leaders do. Sometimes people don't understand why they make that decision. But as a leader, you have the courage to lead. Sometimes you have to make decisions that you don't even know if it's going to work. But at least you are being responsible to make the decision. If plan A doesn't work, then you know that you can implement plan B and see if that works for the company, to see if that works for your family. So being a courage leader takes a lot of responsibility. You have to make decisions. You are an example for your company. You are an example for your family. So my advice to you after reading this book is try to choose to be a player in the infinite game where we're only getting better and better each day. We're not competing with anybody but ourselves. We are not finding rivals out there that we don't like, that we feel like we dislike, but we're seeing them as worthy rivals that we're learning from them because we're getting better and better each day. We're learning each day. Blessings to you all, and I hope to see you soon.